What's up, dude? It's your boy, Steven Lee Olsen.
How are you?
Dude, I'm good. I am driving through this rain, and I'm very happy it's not snow.
Do I call you Steven Lee? Do I call you Steve? Steven, what do you like?
Definitely don't call me Steve. If you want me to answer, I feel like if I was a Steve, I'd have to have a mustache. Because I had an Uncle Steve, and he had just the most amazing duster on him I've ever seen. And I think until I graduate into that, I won't be Steve.
Okay, well, let's start where it all began. You essentially were discovered while working at a car dealership in Newmarket, correct?
That's right. I was a used car detailer and a lot boy, so I used to just drive around these Audis, clean them up. There was a girl at the front desk that her name was Burgundy, and she had caught wind that I played guitar and sang, so she asked me to bring my guitar in one day. I played her some songs in the parking lot, and one of the head used car salesmen saw me doing this. When I got back to my wash bay, I got a call over the intercom saying, "Steven Lee, please come to the office." And I thought I was getting fired for sure. I was like, oh, that was a bad move. And it was this guy named Steve Lawrence. He called me into his office and he said, "Hey, I've heard what you were doing." He's like, "What are you doing with your artistry? What's going on?" So, man, long story short, he took me under his wing, and he was a musician himself that never really got his shot. But I guess he saw something in me that he wanted to make sure that I did, and he did. He drove me to Nashville for the first time, helped me get my demos together, and then, the rest is history, to be honest. He moved me to Nashville 17 years ago, and I never looked back.
Debut single, Now, comes out in 2009. How is the Steven Lee of 2024 different from the Steven Lee of 2009?
Oh, man, that's a lot of life has happened in between that. I think, when I put out the song Now, I really didn't know what I was doing. I was almost too young to know anything. I was just creating music, and that's all that mattered to me at the time. But since then, living in Nashville, I got to develop as an artist, as a writer, and it's really helped me develop my sound. I've gone through a lot of different journeys because I grew up with a lot of different references, musically. Grew up listening to 90s country and R&B and a lot of rock. So that journey alone and just what I've listened to growing up really helped kind of pinpoint me where I'm at in my artistry now. And I've kind of taken all three of those things, and Nashville is really the place that's taught me to merge all of those things to become, a unique artist.
And as a 90s country fan, here you are writing music for Garth Brooks and the Judds and Keith Urban, Blue Ain't Your Color, which is a #1 hit. Do you remember where you were when you found out that Keith Urban was going to be recording your song?
Yeah, I do. I was in my car, and, I had pitched Blue Ain't Your Color to Keith, or my publisher had, kind of just like a Hail Mary. I didn't expect anything whatsoever. I really moved to Nashville because I saw Keith Urban on CMT. I was like, man, there's this Australian guy without a cowboy hat, without belt buckle and boots, and I'm like, this guy is making waves in Nashville, and he's an Australian guy. I'm like, maybe there's a chance that a Canadian boy can do the same thing. And that kind of gave me the courage to move there. When I got the news that he was recording the song, I broke down. I was in my car. I was alone. And I pulled over to the shoulder, and I just cried. Because, man, I had just lost my record deal, which took me 10 years to get. And it came at a time when I didn't know what my future was going to hold, or if I even had one in the industry. It seemed like my biggest setback to lose my deal, but it was really the best setup I've ever had in my life.
July 23rd of last year is a date that's very relevant to you. Do you know why?
I wish I did.
That was the day that you made your debut performance at the Grand Ole Opry.
Oh, my God, of course. Of course it is. Last year was, maybe the best year of my, professional life I've ever had. So there was a lot of things that happened last year that a lot of pinch me moments. But that one, man, I watched the recap reel of that no more than 2 days ago, and it's surreal to me that I got that opportunity.
As an artist, what is going through your head the seconds before you take that walk out onto that stage?
Don't screw this up. Don't screw this up. Don't screw this up.
Yeah.
Honestly, my son was backstage, and I think what I was thinking is like, man, you know what? He is going to remember this because of all the photos and because of all the video we're taking, and this will be something really cool that I'll have with him. And there's actually a really funny story. I got to take him to sound check. You know, the first time I took the stage for sound check, I took my son Lincoln with me, and he was 2 at the time. And when I brought him out, one of the backup singers just came and grabbed him out of my arms, and she brought him up to the microphones for the backup singers. And he actually sang "I'm a Little Teapot" on the Opry stage before I ever got a chance to sing.
Wow, isn't that cool?
I love it, man. It's that's my favorite part of the entire experience, was getting to bring my son.
Let's talk about your newest song, "Happy Heavenly."
Yeah.
That one is about as raw as a song can be as far as emotionally.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, that song is even hard to talk about still. But the song itself, I wrote it. My best friend passed away a few years ago, and unexpectedly. And every year on his birthday, I would go down this vortex of sadness and loss and, grief, which is something that, not a lot of people know how to deal with, myself included. It's not something that's taught growing up. It's almost something that's avoided completely because, out of sight, out of mind. And I get it, but it really left me not knowing how to process loss. And every year on his birthday, I would just, like I said, I would just be so sad. And I wanted to turn those tears into a smile, to be honest. And I started writing this chorus because I'm like, I have so many amazing memories with this man, and I'm not remembering any of them. I'm just remembering the fact that he's gone and I'll never see him again. And I didn't want it to be like that. So I wrote this chorus, trying to therapy myself the only way I know how. And by the end of the chorus, I felt a lot better. I mean, I thought about some memories and had some laughs, and I knew that I had to finish the song. So I finished it, and it was never supposed to come out. It was just supposed to be for me. And my wife said, hey, you should tease a couple songs on TikTok because that's the thing to do these days. And that was one of them. I teased 30 seconds of the chorus, and 6,000 people within a month had made their own memoriam, their own collage of their loved ones that they've lost with this song. And it just made me realize that this song is bigger than me, and people need this. This is helping people, and it's definitely the most personal song I've ever put out. And I still can't even sing it live. I mean, I Lord knows I try, and I will always try. But it's going to take some reps to get through it for sure.
Let's talk about the song that is blowing up on the radio right now, Top 15, Out Here.
We kind of made a big move earlier in the year last year. We moved to a horse farm, just about an hour outside of Nashville. And I was kind of in a writer's block moment in my career where I was like, man, I feel like I don't know what to write about. And my wife, again, to the rescue, she said, go upstairs. I don't care how long it takes. She said, go upstairs and write me a summer banger. Her words, exactly. And she had one of her friends there, and they hyped me up. And so I did. So I went upstairs, and I just started picking away at this thing. And I wrote Out Here by myself. A lot of it I wrote on the John Deere tractor, mowing the lawn, which is something I'd never done before. But it was such an incredible experience to take my time with a song like that. And it's the first song I've ever put out to radio that I wrote by myself as well. So every word of that song is true. And we're still living it, man. We're still living on the farm and loving every minute of it. So I'm excited and happy that the fans are grabbing onto it like I hoped they would.
Well, when it comes on the radio, it stands right beside the Luke Combs and the Morgan Wallens, and it's a great track, and we're happy to be playing it here.
Thank you, brother.
What else is coming up? I know you're doing some shows right now. There's a summer tour? Is there an album on the way? What?
All of the things you just said, man. I can't talk much about the tour. And we're working on a record that we're going to release in the third to fourth quarter of this year. That's coming together incredibly. I'm really excited about the music I'm making right now. Feels authentic, and it lends itself to a festival scenario. Let's just say that.
That's awesome. And you're quiet on the summer tour, but something's happening.
You never know, man. It's too early to say anything, but we have a lot of shows coming up. I'll put it that way.
Awesome. Steve-O, thanks for doing this.
Absolutely, brother. Anytime, holler at me whenever you need, dude.